Aries, welcome to your prosperity reading for the period between April 1st and July 1st, 2017. So, as you can see, I've already laid out the cards because I'm starting this over again. We actually got to the 11-minute mark, but yeah, I'm just going to start all over again. Before I begin, I'm going to read a passage from this prosperity book. It's called The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. And I was just going to open it randomly again, and I still got the same thing that I got the first time, although it was on a different page. Telepathy is an ancient art. Telepathy is awareness of the mental activities of other persons without that awareness being transmitted by sight, hearing, touch, or any of the other known senses. In other words, when the mind communicates with other minds without the use of the physical senses or mechanical devices, such transfer of thought between minds is described as telepathy. So, if rightly used, telepathy can help you to experience prosperous, successful living much faster. However, this special power is only one phase of your prosperity powers. Don't become so fascinated with telepathy that you go off the deep end by concentrating on it to the exclusion of your other special prosperity powers. Now, I'm not going to go too far into this because I just want to give you a taste for just ideas that you might not have thought of when it comes to attracting material good to you or attracting that perfect job to you or whatever. I think in general, without mincing or parsing words, that telepathy, we could broaden that to include any kind of visualization where you are envisioning what you want and before it comes into the physical reality. And everything starts with thoughts. So you can't, you're manifesting something, but you have to think about what it is that you want to manifest and not think about things that you don't want. And of course, that tends to be a trap that people get into. They focus more on what they don't want, and then it's front and center in their lives. So in any case, looking at the cards, let's see what they say. We have the overall focus for this 3-month period as the Page of Pentacles. There could be an important message that comes to you during this time, and it may be something you've been waiting for regarding, did I get this job that you applied to that you really wanted? When you see pages, think of messages. When you see pentacles, think of I was going to say worldly matters, but tangible goods, money, career matters, and mundane affairs, in general, your body, your health. So, and by the way, health is wealth. You can't separate the two. So, all of these things could be coming into play, and this is a good sign that you will hear from somebody. I am reminded of the fact that we are going to have a Mercury retrograde in April, starting off in Taurus and then going back into your sign, Aries. So Taurus is your second house of earned income. So there could be communications regarding this. This would be the perfect thing, communications about income. Page of Pentacles. As that thing of going back and forth. And of course, once Mercury goes retrograde, it has to come back into your sign. And that can indicate a time when you see whatever it was that you were hashing out get resolved, and maybe you will get an increase in your income, possibly. There's also going to be a new moon in your second house sector on the 26th of April. So the Page of Pentacles can also indicate a student. So you may be going back to school. Doesn't mean you're going to study medieval poetry. It could be that you're going to be studying energy healing. As a matter of fact, I would dare say that this is more, given the past position, is more aligned with something spiritual or artistic, because in the past position we have the Queen of Cups, double feminine energy, very intuitive vibe for an Aries person. So it's very possible that you had a solar eclipse in the 12th house in Pisces on February 26th. That might have been the springboard for some kind of new endeavor that involves energy healing, or maybe a life coach. You know, Aries make wonderful coaches because they are so positive, enthusiastic. And it could be like an artistic and some kind of an art course, training, because maybe you are embracing your artistic side. I was noting in my original reading that we have the wands and the cups represented. Now, of course, we have a pentacle there too, and a sword. But multiple 2 wands and 3 cups. And I had mentioned that, you know, at the time of the new moon in Aries, your new moon, there's going to be that Pisces and Aries energy. So we got the fire and the water as well. And that might be what is that theme for the next 3 months, is that like the career and creative endeavors and spiritual endeavors intersecting. What's happening at this time is the Ace of Cups, which is an offer of love, an offer of a job that is, you know, on the soul level, something that speaks to your soul, not just your wallet. And so that can be something that you have wanted. It could be just a new beginning in a heart-centered business or a heart-centered course of studies. You may fall in love, and that relationship is in alignment with what you are doing otherwise in your life related to creativity and or spirituality. The higher message is the Page of Cups. So I think as a spiritual message, it's saying embrace the inner artist. Embrace that part of you that is innocent. Because it's so funny. There's a lot of similarities between Aries and Pisces, the first sign and the last sign. I see both of them as capable of being gullible, to be honest with you, because they're both lacking guile. Sometimes it's easier to see this with Aries, because Aries is kind of front and center, whereas because Pisces is a water sign, they sometimes are reticent and they can hire layers of, you know, they tend to be chameleons, and they can kind of obscure that part of themselves initially. But Aries is just very out there, and they tend to be like just pure energy, not, maybe because it's the first sign, that they're not infected by the influence of other energies. And so it's like a young child, and the Page of Cups does kind of represent, that's why they show it like that. But the message from the universe is to play that up. You may have had instances where people took advantage of that aspect of you, or if they didn't take advantage of you, they mocked you for it, or they derided you in some way and made it seem like you were less than, because you are very innocent in a lot of ways. Not to say that, you know, Aries is this perfect sign by any stretch of the imagination. You know, there sometimes can be childish outbursts and behaviors, like self-centered behaviors, but it's not malicious in most cases. Sometimes, obviously, every sign can be infected with darker impulses. But in general, Aries is a very above board type of a person. And what they're saying with this card probably is something along the lines of never lose that part of yourself, because it's actually a good thing. Even if even if people try to make it like it's something that isn't good, don't listen to them. And don't tone it down. Always be yourself in that sense. We need more innocence and also authenticity in this world. There's a lot of fakeness going on, and I will take the real person any day over a fake person. I don't care if they're even a little bit irascible. That's a great word to describe Aries. A little bit like quick to anger and, grouchy. Now, it's not grouchy. It's just being easily angered. But, even when Aries gets angry, it's like they chill out really quickly too, and they forget that it even happened. It's the people around them that are holding on to it. But not just that. I mean, there's this quality of Aries that is so refreshing, where you guys are very, even when you're blunt, there's no artifice. And other people, they hem and haw and they try to make things seem, they give you a compliment and then they tear you down. That's the latest thing to do. And you get suckered into the compliment, and then the next thing you know, someone is saying, oh, you're so great at doing this. That's what they do in human resources. And that's supposed to be diplomacy. Yeah, right. Now, what crosses you is the Eight of Swords. And this is a card of self-limiting beliefs. So, as positive as you are, you're human, and you've also been conditioned with years of other people's crap being put on you, projected onto you. And it's just a projection. It reminds me of the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz. And he says, everything is a projection, from other people. These things, their opinions of you are their projections, good or bad. And you can see this a lot, Believe me, having a YouTube channel, you see it a lot. People read into you what they want to, they see in you what they want to see in themselves or in life. And so it can go either way, And so anybody that is in a position where people are constantly rating you, giving you a thumbs up, giving you a thumbs down, giving you feedback, you have to really keep in mind, and you will find out, because you'll see great things said about you, bad things said about you. And what you realize is that all of that is projection. And you are to neither take in the positive or the negative. It doesn't mean that you can't be moved by it in some way, or inspired by, I'm inspired when people say wonderful things. It is inspiring. But at the same time, I have to maintain detachment, because, in the next moment, you get something on the other end of it, So it's like a roller coaster ride. But with you, what are those beliefs that other people may have put on you and that you still are operating with? Sometimes it can be cultural. It doesn't have to be just your exact family. Maybe it's the culture that you live in. And for instance, sometimes I wonder, what is the American culture? Because we are such a diverse nation, we have these subcultures for people's nationalities and things that affect them also. And I think one thing is competition and materialism. I think those are two of the biggest hurdles that we have to get over when we're trying to do something business-wise that is a heart-centered business. We have to get over this idea of competition. And I know that probably not many of you have YouTube channels, but just in my experience, I know people who, to me, they seem like they have a lot of subscribers, but they're comparing themselves to other people in their particular genre who have 5 or 10 times as many subscribers. And, you know, I guess it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, you still feel insecure if you're operating under that delusion. And saying, how come I don't have that, you know? And yeah, I mean, it happens to all of us, I suppose, in whatever thing we're dealing with. And what I can say specifically about that particular situation is that there are wonderful people who, for whatever reason, do not have the same viewership as other people, and it does not have anything to do with the worthwhileness of their videos. You know, if you know, I don't know if anybody ever watches anything that's trending. I mean, I don't, but sometimes I click on it by mistake, and you know, look at the silliness that they have for that. But that's okay, because that's entertaining certain people. But they're usually like 10-year-olds, you know, like, you know, doing some prank or, you know, sticking, you know, straws up your nose or something like that, and it gets like 10 million hits. So whatever you're doing, and Aries is a very competitive sign, so maybe that's why I'm feeling compelled to mention that particular thing, is that I have found myself sometimes getting sucked into that and realizing that that is foolish, but it's hard not to, because we are ingrained to believe this from outer sources. And you have to keep telling yourself that that is not what you're about. For Aries, it's a little bit difficult because you are naturally very competitive, and it's not, you know, I don't want to demonize that either. So it's really more about not comparing yourself to other people. You can still compete in a healthy way as long as you don't feel bad if you're not on the winning end, or if you feel like the more you get one over on somebody, the better person you are. That's where it goes awry. But there are other, you know, some of you may have Pisces, you know, you're right next to it in your personal planets, and you may be very prone to underestimating yourself. That's a big one for the Eight of Swords, is that sense of not believing in your ultimate potential. So quit it. And the advice for what's coming in is the Ace of Wands. This is like, I love this card because it's all about initiating passionate action. Taking that initiative. You do have your solar return in April for most of you. And likewise, that new moon at the end of March, if you're watching in March. And you can, you know, put things into play and see where things take you. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything at once, but you are a cardinal sign. You love initiating. You love being the catalyst for change. And the Ace of Wands, I think, can even point to your own business, particularly because it's that individualistic thing with the aces, the beginnings, and something that you're doing. So it's like you're in control of it. And the outcome is the Eight of Wands. There can be a lot of back and forth, a lot of excitement, a lot of activity. You may be talking to people with the Page of Pentacles. It could be with an employer, or maybe you're talking to clients and getting the ball rolling. There's a sense of excitement. There's a sense of energy. just energetic beginnings. And I think that if you felt that there had been a lull, everything starts to pick up in this quarter, if you will. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Aries. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great period of time and be prosperous. Bye.